All right, welcome everybody to our anniversary meeting. It's already been one whole year, which is incredible. And it's been so fun to, in this time of like isolation and in quarantine for a lot of us, to get to meet monthly and get to know each other a little bit better through this group. So I put up this, before we get started, I put up this little survey. If you have time to fill it out, and I can kind of go over some of the results while we're waiting here. You can see it from non-presenter mode that people are joining us from all over the world. Looks like a lot of people in America, but also in, have a few Australians and people in Europe. I see one person in Africa. Is that true? If you are, feel free to post in the chat and say hello. Hi, Helen. Hey. Awesome. A lot of you heard about IWB through Twitter, social media, but a few of you found out through a friend or colleague. And then we'll post the rest of this when my computer decides to warm up a little bit more. But thank you all for filling out that survey. I'll get started. I think most of you know who we are, but for those that are joining us for the first time, we are a group that started just a year ago, and we have now over 550 members and allies from over 150 universities and organizations in over 20 countries. And the mission of our group is really to foster an environment where women in biomechanics feel supported. They can gain support, advice, mentorship throughout their careers. And IWB really has three big pillars that we've decided on. And that is to empower allies, so empower our friends that don't identify as women or not as an underrepresented gender in biomechanics, to help support us in our mission. We have a second pillar of community outreach, and that is to bring more representation to women in the field. And third is, of course, supporting our members that are in this group itself. And we are all volunteer run by a group of 18 fabulous women in biomechanics, who you'll hear more from a little bit later. But in each of these groups, we have a lot of different activities, from creating resources to sharing, member spotlights on our Twitter page, and our Slack channel and our monthly meetings that you're attending right now are also a big part of our mission. And so you'll hear all about the different kind of pillars and activities from the women that run it. And so we kind of broadly have an executive board. If I haven't introduced myself yet, I'm Anna Ibrahimi. I'm one of the co-founders of IWB, and we have a board of 6 women that really kind of work towards supporting IWB and leading our 3 pillars. In our Empowering Allies, which is led by Caitlin Banks, we have Aurelie and Romanda. In community outreach, we have Sarah Kessler, and leading the group with Armida, Freya, Sarah, Laura, and Alexa. And in member support, we have Kirsty and Kat leading a fabulous group of, and that's kind of our biggest pillar, is with Rosti, Nikita, Brecca, Romanda, Katie, and Alexa. So thank you all to all of the IWB team members for really making IWB what it is today, and for all of your work. So with that, we are really here to celebrate a year of IWB, which is very exciting. We're going to go over, again, just a little bit of what we've done this year, celebrate all of our accomplishments and all of your accomplishments. And at the end, the last kind of 30 minutes of our hour-and-a-half meeting, we'll do breakout sessions, and we'll really try to connect and work together to shape IWB's future. So the point of this group is really to connect us with each other, get support from each other. So we hope to have little opportunities sprinkled in throughout to make this meeting interactive and try to get you to meet new people. So first, just a really big thank you for 1 year for joining us whenever you can. I know this is just one more thing on your long list of things to do, but we really appreciate all of you. Thank you for being mentors, for mentoring others in this community, and for sharing your stories. And this is just a little bit of kind of some quotes that people shared with us at our annual survey, and I just wanted to share them all with you because it's really special to hear things like, you know, the group is there if I need it. You know, you don't have to attend every single meeting if you don't have time, but we're always going to be here for you. I also really appreciated things like, you know, this organization gave me hope, and especially in this time of isolation when we're all just staring at our computers, that this group can kind of show us some friendly faces and members and allies that are here for us, women in biomechanics, whenever we need it. I really also liked this last quote here. I dream that the women I know now in IWB will be running companies, departments, universities, and everything they deserve to achieve. So hopefully we can stay connected for many, many years to come, and you know, really support each other throughout our entire careers. Hopefully we stay in biomechanics, but if not, we'll stay in touch throughout. So, all right, thank you all for sharing those little snippets with us. And like I mentioned, I'll just kind of go over two of our big initiatives in IWB. One is our Slack channel, and the other is our monthly meetings, which you're all in now. But I'd really encourage all of you, I know that Slack is just one more thing to have, like just one more app. So if you don't use it, that's totally fine if you want to sign out or sign back in. But it has a lot of great resources, and we have a whole bunch of channels for every single thing that you need. So feel free to use Slack, set reminders for yourself to check it once a week or however often you want. But we have great channels like Say Hello if you want to meet other people. This is a really great way to find out who else is in your area of research. People post a lot in grants and awards and job opportunities. So people are sharing opportunities, and you know, this is a really easy way for you to find out, you know, more about different opportunities directly in a more kind of intimate setting. So this Slack channel is just for our women in biomechanics to feel like they can share and get advice from others. And with that in mind, I know a lot of you have expressed that you kind of feel intimidated posting, or maybe you have something that you'd like to share that you're nervous about. So we did add a bot, an anonymous bot. So with that, you can share messages anonymously. So if you need advice for anything and you're a little bit hesitant or worried to have your name associated with it, please feel free to use that. We're all here for you. We all want to help each other. So that's currently in the general channel. And also, I know, again, I mentioned this, but I know it's a lot of notifications, but please feel free to change your notifications if you want to. But again, Slack is a really, really good resource. So I highly recommend checking in every once in a while. And we'll try to send email reminders too of just kind of what's going on in the Slack channel. And then the other big initiative that we have is our monthly meetings, which you're all part of now. We have been really fortunate to meet once a month for 12 meetings now, and have 20 keynote speakers with a broad range of topics, kind of from panels discussing issues from women in biomechanics to racial bias in research spaces, to research specific meetings, design workshops, and all sorts of things, different careers in biomechanics and so on. So a huge, huge thank you to our 2020 to 2021 keynote speakers for really volunteering their time and helping us get to where we are. Some little notes about the monthly meetings. We had over 300 individual attendees over the year, so a lot of repeats. At least 43% attended one meeting, but more than 57% attended 2 or more meetings. And we'd like to give a special shout out to those that attended 8+ meetings. So I see Bea, I see Katie, I think hopefully some others are there too, Frankie and Ray. just a really special shout out for attending so many meetings this year and for being there for us. So, with that monthly meetings, the attendance kind of fluctuated over the year. We tried some different times. I think we're going to continue to do that just to make sure that we can try to hit the international community at a favorable time every once in a while. But we do record all of our meetings, and they are on, or most of our meetings, I should say, and they are on YouTube. So please check out our YouTube page. That's on, that can be found through our website, or maybe somebody can post it in the chat too. But we had some popular meetings. So in October, our meeting on grants, fellowships, awards, and grant writing did very well. And so also, you'll hear Kat kind of talk about this later on in our survey. Grant writing seems to be a big thing for our members to want to get advice on. So we'll try to continue providing meetings that best support you. Another meeting that was very popular was on mental health and kind of focusing on a growth mindset. So we know mental health is really important. Taking care of yourself is really important. A lot of people have expressed, that they feel isolated, and poor mental health affects their productivity. So we're all going through that, and we want to support you. So we'll have some more meetings like that too. And we hope you join us this summer. We have a lot of different events going on. So the IWB Executive Council is actually presenting at ISB this year in the Education and Outreach section on July 27th. So please join us for that. It'll be a quick 10-minute presentation, kind of discussing some of the survey results that we've collected over the last year. And it's followed by one of two AWB events. So I think I see Maria here. She'll post in she'll post in the chat some more information about that. There's a registration link, but please do join for the AWB event. It'll be related to becoming an ally. So thank you. And then the August monthly IWB meeting will also be a joint one with Black Biomechanics Association and Latinx in Biomechanics. And Caitlin will talk more about that in a second. And we also have a Women in Science event that we're collaborating with in ASB's Diversity and Inclusion Committee that is led by Ajit Chowdhury. So please join us this summer. Check out our website for all IWB related events. Sarah will post more about how to find things on our website and so on. All right, with that, just a quick introduction. I am going to pass it to Freya to talk about bingo. We're going to play some games throughout this session. So I'll pass it to you, Freya.
Thanks, Anna. So just in case you needed anything extra to keep your attention going through the meeting, it's going to be chop and changing a lot, so should keep your interest just fine by itself. But just in case, we thought it would be nice for everyone to play along with our own IWB bingo. So you can go to the link, which I'll post in the chat. You can see on the screen there. Basically, you have to either get a full horizontal or a full vertical line. And if someone speaking throughout sort of the course of the meeting mentions one of those words, then you can cross it off your list. It'll generate everyone a slightly different one. And if you get bingo, then we'd love you to post in the chat, because it's always fun to see who wins. Take a look at that. I will post it in the link as well. So then moving onwards, we're going to go through each of sort of the aims of the groups, the Empowering Allies, Community Outreach and Member Support. And each person's going to tell you a little bit more about what they do. So I will pass over. We'll start with Caitlin for Empowering Allies.
Hi, everybody. So I just wanted to give a quick update about what the Empowering Allies Committee has done so far this year. So at the beginning of this calendar year, we revised our strategic goals, and really the goal was to talk about our external allies and how they can be good allies for women in biomechanics, but then also within ourselves, how we can be good allies for each other, and develop also to being good allies for populations that we are not part of. So we took that, and now we are in the process of developing resources. We're going to have an allyship learning platform for our allies to become better allies of women in biomechanics, and then also provide internal resources for our own allyship. And then the other thing we have brewing is our next meeting, which will take place on August 2nd, August 3rd, depending on what time zone you're in. This is going to be in collaboration with Black Biomechanics Association and Latinx in Biomechanics, and it's going to be about allyship. So we have some really great speakers coming to talk to you and about what being an ally means to them, and what they look for and what they hope for the future. So look out for information coming out on social media. We're going to try to bring this together with all sorts of celebration activities and really have a good time at this meeting. Also, I've talked about this before, but I just want to briefly go over it again. We initially started as International Women in Biomechanics with an X in the word women, with the intention to be inclusive of women and non-binary people who feel like they belong. We decided that maybe our action was less inclusive than particularly using women with an E. So we changed our name, we changed our logo. There's a few little places where things are getting changed still, as like website domains updated and things. But we have made the official change to women with an E. We have done this to be as inclusive as possible. And anyone that wants to continue the conversation about that, please reach out to me. I would love to talk about it. And then I just wanted to do a quick thank you to our supporters. Thank you to National Biomechanics Day for sending some women from IWB to the ASB meeting this year. Thank you to Boom for sharing us on Student Voices. We now have an Australia and New Zealand group, and then IWB was featured in Australia and New Zealand Society of Biomechanics newsletter. We were featured in the ISB newsletter. So there's been lots of great IWB out there, and we just want to thank everyone for sharing the IWB love.
Hello, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Sarah Kessler, and as Anna said before, I'm working with the Exec Council, but also to oversee the Community Outreach Committee. While I'm talking today, I'm going to focus on three main things. The first being our website, what you can find there, what we're hoping to use it for going forward, and kind of use it as a general catch-all for what you need to find for IWB. Then we're going to talk about Twitter, specifically Freya Watson will walk us through it. And then we're going to talk through our Instagram platform, which Laura Hutchinson will talk about. While only 3 of us are talking today, I do want to impress upon you that it is a group of 6 of us trying to put all of this together. So I will remind you of that constantly throughout the next 5 minutes. For those of you who don't know, we have really 3 goals with community outreach. Our goal, first and foremost, is to make women in science more visible, to make it the norm that you are seeing women just as much as you're seeing men, whether it's on Twitter or Instagram or publications. That's one of our goals. Our secondary goal is to really make science more accessible to the general public. And the reason that's one of our goals is because when we combine the first and second goals, it helps us achieve our final goal, which is to really encourage and empower the next generation of women scientists, to convince them that they can do this and that this is a feasible option for them. So on the next slide, I'll walk you through what's on the website, which first and foremost is our events calendar. You can see on the left side of the screen, or I guess the left screenshot, is what is called our IWB sponsored events calendar. That name is kind of says it all. It's any event that we put on or that we're associated with, we will put in that IWB sponsored events section. But what's really interesting, in my opinion, is also our public calendar, which is that second screenshot. This is a calendar that any member can download. Any member can put it on their own Google Calendar. And our hope is that we can use this to bring together all the events that are happening around the world as a kind of one-stop shop to figure out what biomechanic events are happening near you which ones you're interested in going to. But the caveat is this is a crowdsourced calendar, which means that we aren't always vetting it. You might have to have affiliation with the group to join. And most importantly, the 6 of us cannot possibly stay on top of all of the events happening around the world. So we really need our members to let us know what's going on so we can populate this calendar so more people can join your events and you get more visibility. The other thing on our website that is important to bring up is our previous events page. So we've gotten a lot of questions throughout the year saying, I've missed the meeting, where can I find it? All of our YouTube videos will be linked to this page on our website. So if the meeting was recorded, you can find it here, typically the week following our meeting. So next slide, please, Anna. Additionally, our website's been updated to include the initiatives of each of the 3 branches talking to you today. So if you're curious about what member support is up to or what Empowering Allies is up to, head to the website, check out the initiatives they're working on, and let us know if you want to be involved. Again, as Anna said, as Caitlin has said, this community really works because we're all kind of buying in. We're all putting in the time and effort. So if you want to get involved, head to that page. And then finally, we're very excited to announce that we are starting to put out blogs by our members. So this is our first blog has been published today by Shruti Turner. And our hope is that the blog can facilitate even more of a sense of community. We can talk about mental health challenges in the PhD. We can talk about different techniques we use to stabilize our data. We will use the blog as a resource for our members by our members, and that can be found on our website as well. And I think there's one more hit, Anna, on this website. Yes, so if you want to write a blog, make sure you contact Katie or Alexa. They have been working miracles by getting all of this information together. And finally, before I throw it to Freya to talk about Twitter, we want to talk about social media engagement. So in the survey we put out, we asked members where they will engage with IWB the most. Slack came up first, followed by Twitter, then the meetings, email, and Instagram. We're really excited everyone's using Slack. That is our primary means of communication. Twitter is a scientific community. It's great that we're seeing a lot of engagement there. But again, Instagram is where we're really hoping to build this idea of making science accessible to the general public and to the next generation. So I apologize, there are a few arrows that'll pop up and then you can just flick through those. And then finally, we asked, if you guys are engaging on Slack and Twitter, what do you want to see more of? And the 2 big ones were the IWB member spotlight and the paper of the quarter. So if you hit enter twice more, Anna, please, it'll show who you should contact. I'm hoping that with 78 people interested in member spotlight, that means Sarah Breen and Laura Hutchinson and I are going to have 78 emails of people keen to participate. And same thing with paper of the quarter. I'm hoping to see a lot of women wanting to be engaged with this process and contacting Freya and Armida as they see fit. And with that, I will pass it to Freya to talk about Twitter.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So Armita put together all this data, but she couldn't be here today, so I definitely don't want to take all the credit for it. So if you don't already follow us on Twitter, you really should. That's our Twitter handle, and I've also actually just posted a link to our profile in the chat. So from the middle of June, we had 876 followers, and our engagement has increased so much since a year ago when Anna put out her first tweet, or when the International Women in Biomechanics Twitter account first started. So you can see, so that was the 31st of July, 2020. And it had 17 retweets and 16 likes, but we did put out there sort of some words and phrases that you'll probably be familiar with, sort of with our aims and focuses. And we've sort of done over 800 tweets as well throughout the year. Sorry, Anna, I just snuck that in. So as I said, our engagement has gone up from the first month. We just did 3 lonely tweets, probably because we started very late in the month. And tweet impressions, I think, is sort of how many people look at the tweet as you're scrolling through. So we started off with 12. And our best month ever was February of this year. We had 144,000 tweet impressions, and we did 71 tweets that month. But we average out at about 3,500, which is really, really good. So yeah, so thank you all for engaging with us on Twitter, sharing our tweets, and also for like tagging us in tweets as well, with like to tell us about information, because that's so useful, because obviously everyone has different specialties and also interests as well. So it's really good to be able to sort of collate all that together and share it. Yes, Amita, please tag us in tweets. We love being tagged in tweets, please. So these are just some of the top tweets that we've had, as I said, starting in July 2020. Was our first tweet, probably because it was the only one. But then sort of moving through, a lot of the tweets are, these are sort of our top tweets from each month. And a lot of them are about the meetings, or just sort of funny things that we've shared that then that have been going around Twitter that then other people have got involved in, like the authorship anatomy. And also recently, sort of to reflect what Sarah said, the member spotlights and also the paper of the quarters have been really popular. So please contact me or Amita on Slack, or contact us. You can contact us on our personal Twitter or the International Women in Biomechanics Twitter, if you've got a paper that was sort of published recently that you'd like our help preparing a thread for, that then we'll share from the account. So we do it 4 times a year. So the next one will be October. So get in touch. And then just to end on our year-end tweets, this is sort of all the top words and phrases that we've used in our tweets. And again, you can see that basically it's the member spotlights and paper of the quarter. We did one for Julia, who was looking at shoulder biomechanics in a gorilla, and that comes up so much. But I think it's really just like some of the phrases that you can see in there. Congratulations, thank you. Awesome, new paper, opportunities. Yeah, it's just all really good sort of positive things that we like to see. So yeah, so thanks ever so much, and yeah, keep interacting with us and showing us new stuff to tweet out. I'll hand over to Laura.
Thanks, Freya. So I'm Laura, for those of you who don't know, and I live in the Instagram world sometimes. So over the last year, we've amassed 501 followers. And over half of them are from the US. So well done, US, but I guess it's time for the rest of us to step up in different countries. But kind of cool to get a bit of a breakdown to see where our followers come from and where our interactions come from. And not unsurprisingly, most of our followers identify as women, which is great, but we also do have almost 20% of male allies as well, which is really awesome to see. Next. And so our most popular posts have been our member spotlights. So yet another plug, DM us, message Sarah Breen, Sarah Kessler, or I. If you're interested in being featured, it's pretty minimal. Just give us a headshot and a little bio. We've had 21 people featured so far. And all of these women are at various stages of their careers. So PhD students, postdocs, professors, a variety of different clinical or practicing engineers. But if you are an undergrad, if you are a master's student, if you are any other industry profession, if you've got a unique perspective, we'd love to have you, and we'd love to feature you. Next. So now we've got a little bit of a fun interactive activity for everybody. So Anna's going to split us up into breakout rooms where you will be given 2 minutes to exchange either a social media handle, link to a current paper, Google Scholar, ResearchGate, LinkedIn, whatever you're comfortable sharing with just the 2 or 3 people in your group. So share it with one other person and they will be in charge of researching you. As an example, I researched Anna. So this was the mugshot that I found. So if we go next. So what you can see is that Anna really, really likes IWB, like really likes IWB. But she also is a champion of literally anyone and everything at every opportunity. She was out here celebrating humans and women for being impressive, which was really cool. And she's also quite impressive herself. It was actually really hard to find tweets on her and herself and her tremendous amount of accolades. But I did manage to actually find her Halloween costume for this year. And if you go next, she's going to be a carrot, I've decided. I'm not sure if she has decided this, but I've decided. And she looks great in scrubs. So I think Anna's going to separate us now. But thanks.
Thanks, Laura. That's fun. I see the bunny ears. It's very clever. All right, awesome. Okay, so we're gonna create breakout rooms. I'll get you started, and yeah, share, meet each other, have fun. We'll bring you back in about 5 to 6 minutes. Off to Kat. Get us continued.
Awesome. Thanks very much. So I'm Kat Daniels, for anybody that I haven't met, and with Kirsty McDonald, I kind of work with the member support team. A lot of what we do has already been covered, so I'm not going to talk about it in loads of detail, but part of the remit of the group is to plan and to manage the monthly meetings and to set up the blog that Alexa and Katie and others have done a lot of work on. 2 other initiatives that we have and that you will know about because I've been bombarding you with notifications to complete them, the surveys about them, are the creation of a resources repository for our members and also running an annual member survey to get a kind of feel for who we are as a group and what the priority areas should be moving forward. So I'm going to say again, no, everybody said this before, so I'm hammering the message home. If you have any suggestions for anything that we can do to support you, or you're keen to get involved, you want to share your ideas, please get in touch with us. We'd love to hear from you. And what I'm going to do now is hand over to Rusty. He's going to talk a little bit about the resources repository and the feedback that we got on that. And then she's going to hand back to me, and I'll give you an idea of what the survey results we got were that we're working with at the moment.
Thanks very much, Kat. Yes, I'm Rusty Radioff. So I'm a postdoc currently working at Leeds University. First of all, thanks everyone who signed up for the survey and filled out the survey. It's really, really helpful just to kind of map out what are the needs for this resources repository and what you would like us to put together with your help. So our main goal is basically to facilitate for the members and bring together all these resources that you think is very much something that you are looking for. So the survey, we got about 72 responses from you, and the majority of you voted for getting more resources about networking. And then the second was grant and fellowship awards as shown in the graph here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this data to better guide us to collate all of this information. And thank you so much for all of those who put their names forward as well to help us out in collating this data, or simply helping us out by being the key person to put them in touch with other members who might need some extra support and one-to-one support and so on. So that's all that's the outcome from the resources survey. If you have any questions, or if you want to contribute further, like Kat say, please get in touch. So yeah, Kat, over to you now.
Right, so the IWB annual member survey. So this survey we launched at the beginning of June, and it closed about a week ago now. We had 2 aims. The first one was to capture the demographics of the group. Who are we in International Women in Biomechanics, and what are the priority areas and concerns of the members? The second aim was to get your direct feedback on what's worked well over the last year within IWB and how we can develop as a group over the next year. So first, thank you so much to everybody who responded to the survey, all 146 of you. And we obviously need to understand who the group is representing and to hear your feedback in order to develop. So that's really important. I'm going to go through mainly results relating to the first aim now, but rest assured that we are at the moment going through all the feedback. You can see some of it's already been taken into account based on what you've said about your experience of the group so far. So who are we as a group? Our survey respondents came from all over the world. We had quite a representative set of people engaging, had answers from 17 countries across 6 continents. We had a broad age range of respondents from 22 to 58 years, kind of capturing the broad age range of our members. 32% of our survey respondents identify with at least one other underrepresented or marginalized group, and 15% of our respondents are primary caregivers. Click. Okay, so in terms of current careers, we're currently quite dominated by students and by people who are working in academia at a variety of career stages, but we've also got members in industry and in clinical environments and in other environments. Probably the biggest change since last year's survey, if we look across the results, is that our proportion of faculty members has nearly doubled. So that basically reflects the evolution of this group from its initial conception as very much an early career researcher support group to its much broader current remit. We come from and we work in a variety of different subfields. So most people got their highest degree from engineering or from sports science or kinesiology based on our survey results, but there's also a sizable minority with a background in biological sciences, in a clinical field, or in a variety of other fields. So click. In terms of career goals and where everybody's actually trying to get to, it's much less unbalanced here. So we've got near enough a 50-50 split in people who are ultimately aiming to end up in academia and people who are heading for industry, for a clinical role, for a role in government, non-profit organization, and so on. And then, of course, there's the group that have no idea where they want to end up ultimately, which is perfectly fine and absolutely 100% normal. In the free text responses, what we saw interestingly was there was a remarkable consistency actually across the more abstract career goals in people regardless of what field that they ultimately wanted to end up with. So the need for stability was showing up, and that is one that no one's going to be surprised was dominated by academia. So people wanted to feel that they could make plans for 6 months' time, for next year's time, because they knew where they were actually going to be. The ability to progress, so to move up the ranks in whatever your chosen career path happens to be. Just purely working environment, people's goal, an important goal for people's career was to end up in an environment where they were supported, where they weren't isolated, and the environment was not really toxic. And the ability to make a difference. So to be happy, to be challenged, and to feel that in whatever field that you're working in, you can make a difference to a direct clinical population or an athletic population, to students or mentees that you're working with, or to advancing the understanding of your basic science area in order that, you know, we can all stand on the shoulders of giants as our kind of various fields move forward. However, less than half of our survey respondents said that they were confident or very confident that they were actually going to be able to achieve their career goals. So what's missing there? Click. Right, so when we look at unmet training needs, this is really interesting. These 3 areas jump out. What we asked people was, where are they actively seeking to upskill? And also, where are they not finding existing opportunities to do so? And these are the 3. So if we look at career management, at mentoring, and at grant writing, we see a big majority of our survey participants see this as an area that's important for their career progression, and also feel that they don't have satisfactory existing opportunities. So these are areas where we are and we should be focusing our resources and our discussions as we move IWB forward. Click. Right, mental health. So we asked, to what extent, if any, have stress and mental health challenges had a negative effect on your productivity? And this was a massive result. Like, look at that pie chart. Only 3% of our respondents said no impact. 85% said that these issues had had a moderate impact or a high impact on their productivity, about 45% are saying it's a high impact. So this is obviously a massive take-home conclusion from the survey. You said that some of the negative influences on mental health were things like excessive workload and pressure, insecurity in your job roles, working environment, so toxic working environments, unsupportive working environments where people felt isolated, and imposter syndrome and lack of confidence. People also flag positive influences, so things that were making a difference in the positive direction to mental health, taking care of health and maintaining a work-life balance, maintaining social connections, and being in an environment where you're actually getting positive feedback and support. So this is obviously a priority area for us as IWB members and for the field of biomechanics. And some of the positive influences it's nice to see are things that people already noted that IWB was providing or IWB was helping them with. But I think one of the main take homes from this is simply that you're not alone. If you're experiencing mental health challenges and you're feeling that they're negatively impacting your life and your ability to do your work, look around you, it's 85% of us. If you've got 20 little video faces on a video screen, if our survey population is representative, 17 out of 20 of those people are having their lives and their careers affected by mental health challenges. So we can talk to each other and we can share this because it really is all of us, or at least a sizable majority of us. Click. All right, so the last main question that we asked is, what are your biggest concerns, if any, about being a woman or a non-binary person in biomechanics? And these are some of the recurrent points that we were getting, which spread, that you cover quite a broad spectrum of different issues. Concerns to do with not being taken seriously and missing out on opportunities because of biases. A lack of female role models, mentoring and supporting career progression, the practical realities of juggling a family with a career, the idea of tokenization and this pressure that we're feeling to be a representative for all women when we're standing out on a stage or putting ourselves forward. And the last point that was made by multiple people is being aware of intersectionality and the importance of continuing as a group to support and to amplify the voices of other minority groups. So recognizing that for those of us that, you know, if you're here as a white, cisgender, straight woman, you've actually got a lot of privilege compared with other groups, and it's important to use that privilege and to use the voices that we have to work with other groups and to bring everybody up together. Click. Right, so you've probably got your own views on what you think are the important take homes from that, and we would really love to hear them, so please tell us them. But these are some of ours. Firstly, that our community is really broad. We've got women at all career stages and with both academic and non-academic career goals and working in both those different areas. So this is something that we can really leverage as a group. Secondly, career management, mentoring and grant writing as these three topics that are perceived as our primary unmet training needs that are stopping people getting from where they need to be. Stress and mental health challenges are having a major negative influence on our productivity, so you're not alone, and this is something that we need to focus on. And lastly, that concerns about being a woman in biomechanics are broad-ranging and they're intersectional, so we're going to need a multifaceted approach to tackle these types of concerns. These ideas are already guiding the way we move the group forward, and if you have more ideas, or if you want to get in touch or you want to be involved, please come to us and please talk to us. We'll share more results from this survey in other formats later on. You know, we've only been closed after the end of the survey a week, but here are our messages at this stage. Right, so I'm going to hand back to Anna and she'll wrap us up and set us on our way into breakouts.
Thank you so much, Kat. This is great, and big thanks to Brecca and the member support team for putting that survey together. I'll just end really quick. This kind of closes our hour with a huge thank you for joining us this morning. We're getting a lot of tweets and Instagram follows and everything, so thank you so much for sharing this group, for being part of this group. As a woman in biomechanics or as an ally, we really appreciate your support. And yes, just like Kat said, we hope to move the group forward in helping women in biomechanics however we can. With that, I will close kind of this keynote part of the meeting. And if you need to go now, feel free. We'll see you hopefully in August for our other events or at a conference, ISB or ASB in the future. But if you want to stay around for the next half hour, we will be doing breakout rooms and kind of talking more about IWB initiatives and also just getting to know each other and meet new people. So give this opportunity to, I will stop the recording and then hopefully we'll see you in August for those of you that want to go now or stay for the breakout rooms.